While creating and editing cases, we have had a sneak peek into a couple of actions that we can do on case steps. Let's now have a better look into how to work with case steps in AIO tests and explore various options available in detail. We can add or edit steps of a case by clicking on the Edit Steps icon on the case row, directly from the cases listing grid. This should open a case steps modal, similar to what we saw while creating and editing cases. Let's close this for now. Let's click on the case key to go to the case details, and then click on the Steps tab to access the steps of the case. This view gives you a larger screen space to work on steps, and it can be useful if you have a lot of steps with a lot of content. Let's add some steps here. We are going to work on classic steps for this case, so we'll keep this steps type as classic. Let's click on Edit Steps to start working with the steps. As we saw earlier, while creating and editing cases, here we can provide step, data, and expected results to create our step. Let's do that. If we know that there are similar steps existing in some other case that we can use in this case with little or no modification, then we can just copy those steps into this case. That can be done by hovering over the More Actions icon of any case step, and then in the resulting menu, selecting the Copy Steps from Other Cases icon. The Copy Steps modal should open, and we can search for the source case. On selecting the source case, its step should be listed below. We can even list steps of more cases if we need to copy steps from multiple cases. And we can remove if we don't need them using this remove link. Let's select the steps that we want to copy and click on copy. All the steps that we selected should be copied over to the current case. These copied steps are in no way linked to the source case. Changing these steps here will have no impact on the source case. We often have a scenario where we have to execute all the steps of one case while executing another case. For example, we may have to log in before we can proceed with the next steps in different cases. In such scenarios, it will not be a good practice to copy the steps, as any change in the steps of the source case will need to be made at all the places where they were copied. A better way to handle such scenarios is by reusing cases by referencing them as steps of another case. You can do that in AIO tests very easily and very effectively. Let's hover over the More Actions icon and click on the Link Other Case icon in the resulting menu. Let's search for the case that we want to link and select it to link it. The case will be shown as a referenced step. We can reference as many cases as we want to in different steps. Let's do that by adding another step and then clicking on Link Other Case. Let's search for the case and select it to reference it. We can even see all the steps of the referenced case and any nested reference cases by clicking on the case link or on the Show Steps link. As we can see, the steps of reference cases are shown in view-only mode. Any changes that are made to the referenced cases will be automatically reflected in all the cases where they are referenced. Let's collapse the referenced cases. We can use find and replace functionality to either change all occurrences of some text in one go, by clicking on Replace All, or we can even click on Replace Selectively. That will open a modal for us, and here we can selectively replace the occurrences that we want to replace. Click on Done, and we should see our changes over here. We can easily reorder cases simply by dragging and dropping them. We can even reorder the referenced cases. If we want to delete any of the steps, we can click on the delete step icon to mark the step for deletion. As we can see, a message will appear which tells you that this step is marked for deletion and will be deleted when the changes are saved. We can click on Save link to save the changes and continue editing, or we can click on Save and Close to go back to the view mode. Note that anything that can be done on this screen can also be done from the Edit Steps module. Here also we have the same options available. Let's look at a couple of other options that we have, but we didn't use while we were editing steps from the case details view. From the hover menu, we can click on the duplicate step icon to duplicate a step. This can be convenient when we just want to change a couple of words in the contents of this step. We can also attach step level artifacts to any step using the attach file icon. Clicking on it will open a modal where we can choose the file from recent uploads, or we can click on browse to attach file to choose a new file. Let's select our design and attach it to this UI element step. As we can see, our artifact is now attached to this particular step. Let's click on Save and Close to save our changes and close the modal.